Oh, okay.
All right, Fly Shields, Fly Nation. We have a special guest here today. Recently went viral, but also important to us because you got a couple Philadelphia high school coaches, Philadelphia public league coaches getting to talk to our first public league product.
I didn't know that.
Come on now. All right, here we go. So I figured we'd go a little Philly. So
Didn't know that.
for the first four lines here, see if you can pick up what I'm putting down. I practiced in front of one student today who I think was afraid to tell me the truth. Barber shops in Philadelphia, born and raised. With the Blackhawks is where he spent his Pop Warner days, chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool and all, putting on the pads for West Catholic High School. Here came an injury, and he was up to no good. Tried to make trouble in his football livelihood. One little setback, he said, who cares? He packed up his stuff and caught Septon North to the tap.
Bars. All right, Mars.
See what I did there? Back to normal now. He was a part of the Imhotep Panthers team that was the first Philadelphia Public League school to win a state championship in 2015, earning a scholarship to Vanderbilt. He was an impact player on the football team, but most impressively on campus and in the community. With the pads on, he played his entire career with the Commodores, recording 61 tackles, 13 tackles for loss, and 7.5 sacks in his junior and senior campaigns. He was voted team captain by his peers and received Vanderbilt Athletics' Godfrey Dillard Courage Award, given to an exceptional student athlete who has overcome adversity. After earning degrees in medicine, health, and society and cinema media arts, he landed an internship at the Children's Hospital of Vanderbilt that has led to his largest impact yet, dare I say. As a part of his capstone, he started Dancing Doors, an organization that has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for the Children's Hospital of Vanderbilt since its founding in 2018-2019. Initially going undrafted, he played the 2021 season with the Broncos, then spent the 22 season with the Vikings. But guys, it's always been the Defenders. He was with the XFL Defenders in 2023, then the UFL Defenders in 24 and 25, recording 6.5 sacks in last year's championship pursuit. Now, after a year carving out a successful professional career, he returns. Like Batman in The Dark Knight Rises, he was rebuilding his strength, waiting for the moment to climb out of the pit and return to Gotham City, a.k.a. DC's Navy Yard, to defeat the enemy Bane, a.k.a. the Louisville Kings, to save Gotham, a.k.a. win the United Ball. Shields up, I introduce you the prime-time PTO pass rush player, hashtag first 48, defensive end and healthcare advocate, Andre Mintze.
Let's go.
That was fire.
Let's go. Welcome to the show.
That was fire.
Mintze, yeah, you got two public league high school football coaches on with you. So as a Imhotep grad, as a Philly native, it's really, really dope to have you on the show. The show is called Fly Shields Fly because, one, we're obviously huge Eagles fans being from Philly, but we wanted to have that Philly tie since we don't have a UFL team. We've always been locked in with the Defenders down in DC. And you are the first player that we've had to win a PIAA State Championship, dominate the public league, and then go on to be a UFL champion. So shout out to you, shout out to Philly, shout out to DC, and we are blessed and excited to have you on the show, bro.
That is crazy. Y'all have me for as long as y'all need me. That's crazy. I did not know y'all. What high schools?
So we started a program at Vaux High School in North Philly together in February of 2021. So I live in the neighborhood. Coach Robbie Marsden was starting the football team. It was the first sport at the school. So Vaux used to be a middle school, a historic middle school, closed down in 2013 when Philly School District closed, I think, 24 schools back then. Reopened in 19, Robbie?
Yeah, 19. I got that.
And then 2021, we were the first sports program. So we started during COVID. I didn't know Robbie. Robbie didn't know me. We didn't really know how to coach high school ball. The kids were not in school. They were coming from across the city, and we were hoping they would show up for practice for a team that had never won a game. So we were, Robbie and I were in a park. We happened to meet by chance, and I was out with my dog in the park because it's a block away from my house. He was there setting up cones. And I asked him what he was doing. Thought he was just getting a workout in for himself during COVID. I was like, oh, appreciate somebody being about their fitness and their health. And he told me he was starting a football program. And at the time, I was working for the 76ers, but there were no NBA games. So I had a lot of time on my hands. I told him, if you need any help, I'm happy to volunteer. Gave him my email. And in the block it took me to get home, I had an email in my inbox asking if I wanted to coach with him. And we've been coaching together, now podcasting together, putting on the second annual Big Man Bowl together. We had this past weekend for the offensive lineman, defensive lineman in the pub. So that one chance meeting kind of got a lot of balls rolling, got a lot of things started for us. So yeah, we started that Vox program together.
That's fire. That's fire.
Andre, I want to get this out of the way now for context. Like, you know, you look at different articles, South Philadelphia, North Philadelphia, Tab West, like what neighborhood do you claim? Like what elementary schools and middle schools did you go to?
I spent most of my childhood in South Philadelphia, in the Grays Ferry area. It's a little street called New Hope Street, maybe a block over 29th and Tasker. So, yeah, I grew up in South Philly. I went to school, though. I played football. I went to school in North Philadelphia. My elementary school was St. Malachy. Yeah, so in that Cecil B. Moore area right up the street.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, it all ties together. I know it's a little complicated, but I grew up in South Philadelphia.
Okay. All right, cool.
You touched pretty much all the parts of Philly. You grew up in South, went to school in North, played for some ball some of the time in West before getting to TEP. So you've been around. You run the Philly streets. You know about them.
Something like that.
That's awesome, man. So what was it like for you growing up in South and playing football for a program as honestly as storied as it's weird to say a Pop Warner team is storied, but the Blackhawks really have put together a lot of great careers for a lot of kids. What's it like being part of an organization that's done so much for the city and has such a strong reputation for putting out powerhouse players?
I think it's really amazing, honestly. Like, I went to school in the area, but one of my cousins, he was a coach on the team. So he told my mother and father to come out, bring me out. And that was kind of all she wrote from there. It was close to the school, so it kind of all tied together. It would make sense that I would play in South Philly, but all of our family and everything, stuff like that, going to school there. My sisters went to school there. So it was up the street, and he was a coach. So once I came out, my mother would come off of work and sit out there, watch my sisters cheer, and watch me at practice. So I got to thank her for that. But it was like once I was in it, and you found out rather quickly that how serious this organization was, the history that comes with that, and the caliber of players, that they had when I was there, and they still have to this day. I was able to win a national championship in Florida with that organization, and still have coaches that's still there, and that team is one of the most historically rich and I would say best organizations in the city when it comes to youth football. So just being fortunate enough to be a part of that was really started with one of my family members being a coach there, and it was all she wrote.
That's really cool, man. Like I get that. What you said about being able to go from school to your mom being able to take you to practice, take your sister to cheer, and really having that community that's not just you. Like it was your cousin was coaching, your mom was around, your sister's cheering. That family tie, man, that really is what makes the football community so dope at the Pop Warner level or the little league level. For me growing up, it was kind of the same thing. Like my younger sister cheered for the Rising Sun Sunners. My dad was my coach. My mom was a cheer coach. I was on a football team, played with my cousins. And it just gives you that foundation that you need to fall in love with the game. And then you can become a great at the game. So as you get to progress, you have that foundation of like family and community around you. And that makes it so much easier for the hard times. Because there's times like you had the injury when you were in high school. So being able to overcome that and having that foundation and the family and the community around you definitely makes the journey not necessarily easier, but it makes it more fulfilling, I think, with more meaning. So thanks for sharing that, man. That's awesome.
And it's crazy that was a hard-nosed team. That was a hard-nosed organization. There's literally a video. If you type in North Philly Blackhawks 2009 on YouTube, there's a video. It starts off, I'm like 9, 10 years old. It's a dude screaming in my face. You gonna hit the bag like that? Well, go back and hit the bag or I'm gonna hit you. And the video starts. That's literally me. I swear to God. It's literally on you. If you go to YouTube and type in North Philly Blackhawks 2009, the first scene is me getting screamed at as a 9, 10-year-old. And that kind of set the tone for my entire Blackhawks experience. It taught me how to be a young man. It taught me how to be aggressive when playing football. But people still ask me, and I never understood why until I found the video, right? They said, he literally asked me, have you ever been hit by a 300-pound man before? I said, no. He said, well, go back and hit the bag or I'm going to hit you like that. And that set the tone, I swear. People still ask me that to this day, and I get so mad because it's like, I wish I could see him now. That's how funny I am. But it's crazy, man. That video will let you know who the North Philly Blackhawks is in essence. And I think I still carry that grit and perseverance today because of it.
Yeah, it toughens you up a little bit at 9 or 10. You're nowhere near 300 pounds. I know you might be now, but back then, not even close. By this point, you probably had a 300-pound guard run smack into you and have to deal with that. But you had no fear of it from 9 or 10, so I get that. That's amazing. So can you talk a little bit about your transition from the Blackhawks to did you play 14U and then go to high school, or did you go straight from the Blackhawks to high school?
I know it's a little different now. I know I just played the weight class, but I did play JV my freshman year. So I played JV football. I would say I was 14. Once I got to high school, I started playing high school football. Transitioning, it's a lot of guys. As we got older, it was a lot of guys that, hey, I'm going here, I'm going here, I'm going here. And a lot of those guys, ironically, ended up going to MOTEP Charter. And I was actually supposed to go there first. And I went to orientation. And then I had the opportunity to go to West Catholic. So I went to West Catholic. And life is funny. Like all those, it's like probably like 6 people that I played in North Philly Blackhawks with, all went and played with MOTEP. And I ended up meeting back up with them my junior year. So, but I started, to answer your question, I started JV. So I was about 14 and started with JV football in high school.
That's what's up. And one of those people that was at MOTEP with you, won a state championship with you, also won a championship with the Defenders. You and Yasir Durant go back.
Yes, sir. Me, Yasir Durant, and also Jameer Johnson. He was on the team the year before.
Wow. What a team.
I gotta make sure they had a picture. They got a picture on the UFL page of all us 3, and then the next picture is us in high school. I gotta make sure we acknowledge them because it's like it's crazy because they both play O-line. I play D-line. We've been going against each other. We've been knowing each other since we was 16 years old, right? So you look on the team. I just seen Yasir today, actually. Just seen him, and it's like it's crazy. Like when I line up against Yasir, he knows all my moves.
Yeah.
Jameer, he knows all my moves. So it's like I can't. Sometimes I'm not mad, but sometimes I was mad. I was just like, when I think about it, like he's literally seen. I played against them both. I played against them both in high school and practice. Then we won a championship together. Then I played them both in college in the SEC. Yasir went to Missouri, and I lined up against him and rushed against him. And Jameer went to Tennessee, lined up against him, rushed against him, and now we're all here. It was like I can't get away from him. Those are my brothers in life. But the fact that they both played tackle. And I play defensive end, and we had to go against each other.
Constant matchup.
It was only so much I could do to actually beat them because they seen everything. They seen everything, so it was crazy. That was pretty that was probably the cherry on top.
That's amazing. That really is an incredible story.
Yeah,
do you think having people like that with you that know you so well, that know all your moves, has that forced you to kind of think outside the box and add more tools to your belt?
100%. But it's like, when I line up against them, it's kind of like we laugh at it, but it's like, because they know it. Like they know, okay, he's lining like this, he's gonna do this. Oh, he's lining like to the point where we're in practice. Like if they know, you can ask them. If you know me, I'm practicing 100% every single day. Yeah. So it would be Thursday or Fast Friday, as we would call it. The game would be on Sunday. And the pace, the tempo is a little bit down. But when I line up against Yasir or line up against Jameer, I'm going 100 miles an hour to prove a point. I gotta prove a point that.
This is for that one time you got me when we were juniors in high school. I'm getting you back.
Yeah, so it's crazy looking back at it. You know, going against them for almost 10 years now, and at every phase.
Oh man. So hearing you speak, it's clear you value community. I was hoping, just reading about your impact with Dancing Doors blows my mind. Really finding it through a capstone project and it being something that still raises hundreds of thousands of dollars for the Children's Hospital of Vanderbilt to this day. Can you speak and let the listeners know a little bit about what Dancing Doors is? And speaking of the community piece, is there like someone you came in contact with or interacted with that inspired you to do this at the Children's Hospital?
So what happened was our football team, they wanted to incentivize us to be more than football players, right? So we had a scoring system, a point system, just going to non-sporting events or more than just being in your football hub, right? So I want to give a big shout out to our coaching staff, Coach Mason and everybody there. They were like, listen, you guys got to go out there. You get points. The player development staff was like, yo, you get points to go to events. So Dance Marathon, it was a 13-hour event. And I'm like, oh, it's just in our indoor, right? So I went and I looked at the vendors, and there were actual children that were getting treated by the Monroe Carroll Children's Hospital. And it was just like a big party, like celebrating kids. They had a bunch of bounce houses, all types of stuff, right? And I was like, oh, I'm just going to go for an hour, right? And I ended up staying like it's a 13-hour plus event. I ended up staying, as soon as I got there, I stayed from the beginning to the end. Because I was just like, this is cool. Like, this is like, we're literally, it's a fundraiser for kids. The kids are there, the families are there, there's vendors, there's food, there's things they're auctioning off. I thought it was just an amazing event. And what I noticed was all the partners and sponsors they had, there wasn't any official athlete presence there. There were athletes there that were a part of the committees and stuff like that, but there wasn't like as an official sponsor. So before I left the event, and literally it was on the weekend, so I'm like there. I'm spending my time. I was there, right? I was like, okay, who can I speak to that helped put this together at the hospital? I met a lady named Casey Steen, and she was kind enough to say, hey, I got her information, and I told her I was interested in how this works, and she extended the opportunity for me to do an internship at the hospital. And being an athlete, you got to be there over the summer. And it worked out to where I was working, seeing what she does, because she didn't just do it at Vanderbilt. She did it at other colleges and stuff like that, working on the logistics of what that's like. You know what I mean? Facilitating this dance marathon event. And it's something that goes on at every college and other hospitals and stuff like that all across America. So just seeing how that was, I was like, okay, how do I bridge a gap between Vanderbilt athletics and dance marathon? So she, with myself and a lot of other people, we put together the groundwork. And also a lot of people in our Vanderbilt athletics team. Like it was not just us two. It was Miss Caitlin. There was a lot of other people. And we were able to put together an initiative of, okay, we're going to pair a kid that's treated at this hospital with a team. And we're going to have a competition where each team, Vanderbilt basketball, Vanderbilt soccer, Vanderbilt tennis, Vanderbilt football has a kid that their family and the kid is a fan of the actual team. And we'll have a competition where we just raise money for them. And at the end, we'll be able to present at the actual event how much total we were able to raise on behalf of Vanderbilt athletics. And it took a lot of groundwork. And again, I didn't do it on my own. But once we got people involved and we pitched the idea and people started to run with it. And it's something that I'm more proud of because the people that are still there that did the groundwork and kept it going since I left, it's amazing to see what it's become. And I think raising over $100,000, starting with just an idea and me trying to just connect dots, I think is something that's amazing. So they're paired with a kid. They raise money with a kid they come to a game. You interact with the players, you interact with the families. And we were able to make a promo video at the Children's Hospital. And ultimately we had a representation from every sport in the video. And, it got the ball rolling into something that's greater than us all, fundraising funds for kids that are treated at the Monroe Carroll Children's Hospital. So, yeah, I know I'm going long-winded, but yeah, it started with an idea.
That's an incredible story.
And, hundreds of $1,000s later, I'm still up and
That's
going.
amazing. And that all started from, your football team telling you to be more than a football player and you taking the ball and really running with it, being at that event, thinking you're going to pop in, pop out, and you're there from the time the sun is up till it's back down and comes back up again, there for 13 hours. And then not only did you do that, you did those 13 hours, but you were like, what can we do to do this again, do this bigger, get more people involved? And I think that says a lot about you as someone who has great ideas, but also has that idea and then wants to put the execution behind it. And I've already noticed you did it with your teammates from Imhotep that are still with you at the Defenders. You did it with everyone who worked on Dancing for Doors. You do a great job of giving appreciation, acknowledgement, and recognition for your teammates. And I think that's just a great sign of, one, a leader, and two, someone who's a joy to be on a team with. And now, like, we gotta get to how that experience, I assume, tied into your COO, your Chief Operating Officer job in Baltimore, where you work in a healthcare center now, healthcare system, recovery center, correct?
Yes,
Right.
sir.
And now you still have that tie to healthcare, to people healing and growing. But it has to do, it gives you an opportunity to connect your teamwork, your leadership, and your care for other people. What has it been like to be able to take the lessons you've learned in football all the way back to the Blackhawks, through Imhotep, through college, through the pros, to a professional job in healthcare? And you are one of the few people on the planet who's got to do both at the same time. I don't know how many people have a LinkedIn that says COO and edge rusher at the same time. So can you talk a little bit about how what you've learned in football, about what those skills that you learned in football, how they translate to your professional life now?
I would say all the things that I put into how to become a quality football player or a quality edge rusher or defensive end or special teams player, just showing up early, leaving late, putting the work in on deficiencies, putting the work in on things that you're good at, you're bad at, and just taking that hard hat lunch pail mentality to the game of football. Like I just took the same approach to working in healthcare. Um, Following up on things I don't know, asking questions I don't know, learning things on my own. Like, I had a glossary of medical terms that I may have heard in college, but I didn't remember now. So as they're talking, I'm Googling it, putting it together. Okay, next time they say this means that, this means that. And just putting in the work to not only build myself up, build up my own internal value, but also to bring and provide value is something that I took pride in the role that I'm in now. And it's just a worker's mentality. You know what I mean? If you want to be the best, you got to train like you got to act like it. That doesn't matter if I'm wearing shoulder pads or if I have a suit on. So when when I'm given a task or I have a project that I'm working on, I just treat it like this is a representation of me. Because in football, a quote that we always got is, your tape is your resume. So what you put on tape is a reflection of who you are as a person. So the same thing goes for me leading an initiative, me implementing a policy, me tracking a project. My tape is my resume. This project reflects who I am as a person. So I like to think that I provide quality, I provide value. So I just take the same workers mentality and that approach when presenting a project, implementing a policy, or tracking or following up on certain things. So football has taught me a lot of that. And also even my injuries, tearing my ACL 3 times, something that I love being taken away from me and then having to build myself back up against all odds and fight for it again. So I would say the perseverance, hard work, and be open and willing to learn the things that I don't know and capitalize the next time I get the opportunity is what I take into the business world that I learned from football.
Incredible answer.
So, first of all, we'll clip that and just sign, seal, deliver it to our high school players. How you do anything is how you do everything mentality, taking that into how you navigate your professional life. That's awesome. I went into Dre Mintze TV today, and I watched one of your vlogs from a year ago, where it seemed like you were in this in between time, from I'm assuming post UFL championship, and really trying to figure out what was next. And honestly, like watching that video and hearing you speak and talk about your experiences from, having worked security, you tried a door-to-door job, that wasn't for you. You went to the Amazon orientation, but it didn't vibe. You were actively doing DoorDash. You showed us a day in the life as a car salesman and then getting your workouts at 5 o'clock in the morning. Like that was one of the most raw views of a professional football player trying to make it in both worlds.
Yeah.
Can you, and like just that vlog being a year ago, I see on LinkedIn that you get into the MIT COO program just over 6 months ago. And now you're in this role with Brighter Days Recovery. And now you're in the United Bowl. So like this last year has been crazy for you. Can you speak to that year and that journey?
Yeah, man, it's been kind of wild, man. I haven't been able to hold the camera and live it at the same time. It's been a blessing, lack of a better term, but like,
Yeah.
I was, like spring football pays good, but not enough to live off of, right? So all these things I accomplished, ups and downs, like just the reality of it. You go to a top tier school, you get to play in the NFL, make the team as a 53-man roster, as an undrafted rookie. Then boom, you find yourself playing in the spring league. Then boom, you still got to get a job after. You got to get a real job like everybody else, because football doesn't pay the bill. You know what I mean? Playing in the spring league, but still it's an opportunity to chase your dreams. So it's like you got to figure it out. You look up and you say, okay, look at my resume. What's on my resume? I have nothing but football. I did help start an initiative, but I did go to a good college, got my master's degree. But the reality of it is, where's your real life work experience, right? So recording that video, it was me being really vulnerable. Like, listen, like I did DoorDash, I did security. I went to the Amazon. I did the Amazon orientation. After accomplishing all these things, the sweat equity doesn't translate into the real world all the time, right? But your skills, who you are as a person, translates, right? So I found myself kind of lost and was just kind of like, man, I accomplished all these things and this is what I have to do. But yes, this is what I had to do, right? And I started selling cars. And this is the crazy thing. I swear, this is a real story, right? I'm extremely fortunate. I'm extremely blessed, right? So like the same mentality. I lift before work at 5 a.m. Go work my job on my break. I would go run and preparing for the next UFL season. I would go run on my break. And then depending on if I had to sell or something at the end of the day, I would go work out again, right? So as I'm doing this, preparing for the season, I was working at the job for about 3 months, man. And, if you work in car sales, if somebody picks up the phone, it's a free, if they're not attached to anybody, it's like a free call. So everybody kind of sticks by their phone. I picked up the phone. It was a gentleman inquiring about a vehicle. And he was like, hey, listen, I don't want to be there too long. Just had a vehicle ready. I'm locked in. I'm ready to go. I'm like, yes. All right, let's do it. Sell, right? It's commission based. So this guy comes in, has all his ducks in order. Have everything highlighted. He just has to initial. He can write off keys, car, clean, everything, right? So, I show him the car, and he was like, "I don't like how this looks." I was like, "What?" I was like, "No, wait. It's okay, cool, whatever. You don't like it, whatever." So, point him to a different car, a way better car, a way nicer car, and that means we have to start the process all the way over. So as we start the process all the way over, he has to sit and talk to me. We got to talk. We got to chop it up. You like this one, car? He didn't even test drive it. He was like, I like this one. Okay, let's do this one. I'm like, all right, perfect. I don't want to ask you another question. You sure? You good with it? You like the color, everything you like? Okay, yes. So I print out everything, and buying a car is a long process. We are printing out everything as we're getting everything is done as well, transferring all that information of the original car, putting that away to this new car. We get to talking, right? So I'm like, hey, like, what do you do for work? He was like, man, I'm on a healthcare company. And we got to talking. I started telling them about my football journey, me being a professional athlete. It's just something I do on the side. And he was like, after end of it, after he signed all his documents, he was just saying like, man, if things don't work out, just give me a call. So I'm like, oh yeah, for sure, definitely. So I also told him, hey, come to a Defenders game. We're in Baltimore right now. We were in Mercedes-Benz of Catonsville. come to the Defenders game. So I got his phone number. I sent him the schedule. And he was like, oh, yeah, definitely. And I'm like, you're not. The point is, extended it to you. So after this was before the 2025 season. I come back after the my car job, go to the season. Fairy tale ending. We do what we do. We win a championship. Confetti everywhere. So I'm anticipating I'm like, hopefully I get opportunities for a workout or something, right? That doesn't happen. Okay. You gotta get back to work and figure out what you gotta do. So as I'm evaluating my options, like, okay, do I go back to the dealership? Do I apply for another job? I'm like, let me just reach out to this guy. He said if it don't work out, reach out to him. So I reached out to him. He didn't reply. So I'm like, all right, I might gotta go back to the dealership. Let me start applying for jobs again. I said, let me reach out to him again. Why not? Worst thing he told me is no, or nothing at all, whatever. So reached out to him again. He finally replied. I was like, hey, remember you told me if things don't work out, if you're done with football, reach out to you. I said, hey, things not working out. Come on, please. So, he told me to come watch the Ravens game with his company. They were all watching the game. He had a whole setup and everything. And when I arrived, he was like, what's your name again? I was like, oh, my name's Andre. I sold you the car right there. I sold you that car. And we just started chopping it back up and rebuilding a rapport. And he was like, did you go to college? I was like, yeah, I went to Vanderbilt. I got a master's degree. I did XYZ. I actually got a master's degree in healthcare. And he was like, okay. He was like, somebody's going to call you in 2 weeks, right? And it goes back to my point, how you do anything is how you do everything, right? So somebody called me in 2 weeks. He gave me a role, and I ran with it. Like, I took off the role. Like, he gave me opportunity in what we do, and I took hold of it and rather quickly escalated in the company because how I approached the role, how I approached the job, and ultimately just fast-tracked me into being a part of the senior leadership and being a COO. Simultaneously also applied to an MIT program to essentially learn how to be a COO. You know what I mean? So I started the job in September, got promoted multiple times from there. And I look up and I'm a COO in a healthcare company, right? Initially, you may say, okay, you were just selling cars, but the same approach I took, listen, medical jargon, I'm learning it. I'm over here making my own glossary. I can show you the glossary that I have of everything, following up on things, just being on it. Like I said, everything that you asked me to do is a reflection of me, right? So I'm not going to give you bad information, or I'm not going to slow play his information, right? So I think I gotta give him. He took an opportunity, a chance on me, and I made the most of it, and I appreciate him for it. Like, he is one of the coolest, down-to-earth, intelligent people I've ever met. And yeah, man, he gave me an opportunity, and I didn't let it slip away.
Yo, that's an incredible story. That's like, I got goosebumps listening to that whole thing, because you really you took everything that you learned all the way from the Blackhawks and rolled it all into one story of persistence, of seizing an opportunity, of being persistent, of being consistent. And you said my favorite word of the day, vulnerability. I was just talking to my high school team at Vaux. So Robbie's now coaching at his alma mater. He's coaching with his coaches and teaching with his teachers. So that's one of the reasons we started this podcast, was so that we could continue to be in connection and be in community together consistently. So I was with the Vaux kids myself today, and we were talking about what it means to be a man. And I think you, honestly, bro, are like an incredible example for these kids. Someone who came up in Philly, spent time in South, spent time in West, spent time here in North, and to talk about the vulnerability and to be bold and courageous enough to share your vulnerability with the internet, with inevitably the entire world can have access to that. That's just an incredible testament. And I just wanted to open it up to you before we start wrapping things up about what does it mean to you to be where you are as a man of your age now, and what would you say to the kids in North, South, West, all parts of Philly that are where you were, 10 years ago? What would you say to those 16, 17, 18-year-old kids trying to figure out their way?
I would say that number one, I'm not a finished product. I'm still figuring it out. Like I'm still working on myself, working on how I can build and not only benefit from all these things that I were able to accomplish, but also how can I bring these values to people around me. I'm the oldest of three. I got two younger sisters. I got a mother. I got a family that, you know, really could, how can I bring value to them as well? I've been extremely fortunate in a lot of things out of my control. I'm extremely blessed, right? With that on the same coin, you know, growing up in inner city Philadelphia, there's a certain grit and there's a certain level of adversity that we face in general. Being from inner city Philadelphia, you know, some people from Philadelphia, they're a little mean. You know what I mean? They're a little rough around the edges just because of who we are, the type of city that we're from. I would tell that those kids that I know it's not easy, but it was never supposed to be easy, right?
Mm.
There are people that have been given the silver spoon that will be right now maybe farther than you and maybe farther than you look up 2 years from now, 3 years from now. However, you getting everything that you want off the muscle, out of the mud, is going to make you who you are, and it's going to separate you in a room full of people that may not have that same story. Take pride in your background, take pride in what you come from, because it's going to propel you forward if you are able to learn from it and use the tools that adversity gave you wisely, right? So a year ago I was selling cars. Now I'm in a room with doctors. I'm extremely fortunate and blessed, but the reason why I was able to get to where I was is because number one, I'm blessed and there's a lot of things out of my control that fell into my favor, but because that same grit and perseverance that I got from sports or I got from the day-to-day life of living in inner city Philadelphia, I apply to any opportunity that comes from that comes my way, right? Adversity is built to build character, and if it was easy, everybody would do it, right? I think me personally, I'm still figuring out what this looks like long term because it's a lot of different things, right? But I do know that I do know how to face adversity. I know how to work hard, and I know how to learn. I know how to learn from people's mistakes and also learn from my own mistakes. So I would tell them to embrace where they come from, face adversity head on, learn from it, and just continue to grow and build value towards wherever you're chasing.
Damn.
You need a backup guard for Saturday.
Backup guard.
Yeah, maybe slide me down the depth chart.
Come through, man.
Dre, I need to squeeze a couple more out of you real quick. One, you talked about something that I think is for you like equal parts intention because you're clearly an intentional person, but also comes with practice. You talked about chopping it up, and I've read that your dad owns a barbershop and you spent a lot of time in that barbershop. Talk to us about how that maybe that gift of chopping it up came out of the barbershop or maybe practiced in the barbershop.
I'll honestly tell you, one of the biggest things I learned from him is how to work hard, right? So he had his own business. He would literally, you'll be surprised the amount of people that get haircuts at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
He would, and eventually when I went to Imhotep, it was around the corner from Imhotep. So I got to ride with him to school and stuff like that. Even though school started at 10, I would sleep there. I would sweep up hair, but he would literally leave before I got up and will not be back when I fell asleep, because he just had that hard head lunch pail mentality of showing up to work, doing what you're supposed to do, and coming home. So I would say that is really the biggest thing that I learned from him: work ethic. As long as my mother, she would do everything that she did, and then still take us to practice, take us here, take us to do that. So I think the biggest thing I learned, particularly from my father, is the ability to work hard, and that day in and day out, like you got to put the time in, no matter what. It may take a year, it may take 10 years. You got to be able to show up to work every day and do your job because there's people counting on you no matter what. So I know it doesn't really directly answer the question, but I would think that's the biggest thing I learned from watching him work in a barbershop.
Nah, the barbershop is such a valuable space. And to be the son of a barber and like really grow up in the entrepreneurial lifestyle and see that done the right way, man, that's honestly, that's as valuable as anything you learn in a classroom or when you're going to get a degree or a diploma. That real life experience that you get, not just from your pops, but I'm sure you picked up game from the people that were getting cuts or the other barbers or people that would just come and sit in the shop and chop it up. So that's huge. I can't imagine how much value you got from that as a kid. That's now still paying off as an adult.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
As we get together here, Dre, I need to ask for the tea, right? You talked about this connection with your boss, and I love how you're talking about being coachable in your role and bringing value. I need to know how the last couple weeks have gone. Like, what was that? Who shined the bad signal? What coaches and teammates called you up? Did somebody sneak attack you? Did Yasir be like, yo, bro, like, come on? Like, was
there hesitation? Was it like, hey, I have a nice desk job where I don't have to get hit? No one's chasing me down, taking out my legs. None of that.
Honestly, it was a little bit of everything. I'm a DC defender through and through, so every week I'm just, what's going on? How you doing? Y'all good? Yeah, it's like, what's going on in practice? Because it's like I've been doing the same things since I was like 10 years old, right? So it's like, all right, you just stop doing it. I'm like, yeah, I would be in camp right now. I'm in a meeting. All right, cool. So it would be me checking in with Yasir, checking in with my teammates, looking. Hey, how was practice today? They post a video of practice. I'm in the background, like just looking, like I'm looking at the video, see what's going on. Okay, that was a good rush over there. So it was like that, and just kind of trying to talk myself, like, hey, no, you got a good opportunity. Make the most of this opportunity because it's football. I love football. You know what I mean? So it was that back and forth, and then start having conversations like, hey, you can come back if you want. I'm like, no. I can't. Like I said, how you do anything is how you do everything. I'm knee deep, 2 feet down doing this. This is what I'm doing. I enjoy it. But it's like the little voice just that may or may not have been a person, that may or may not have been a coach or myself. So this was a conversation throughout the season. And a few weeks, I was sent a picture of my locker. My nameplate, I was like, still up there. Still up there. I seen somebody else with 48. It hurt my heart. I said,
that's mine.
I was hurt about it, but Coach Shannon Harris, we talked. We had a conversation. He said, "Hey, you checking in? You good?" And he'll text me. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. You good? How you doing? I see y'all. Congrats on the game. And there was a text message that stood out to me, and I was like, yeah, the timing got to make sense. And the timing started to make sense. It started to make a little sense. The time started to like clinched 2 weeks. Talking to coach, like, what can we do? Coach, what can we do? I got this I got to do. I got an XYZ. You got an XYZ, coach. Can it work? He was like, yeah, it could work. And of course, the team is a team. There's amazing players on that team. They're doing what they're doing. And I'm like, listen, I told coach, anything that you need for me to do to make sure you hold up a championship trophy, I'll do it. If that's handing out water, if that's running down on kickoff, if that's playing defense, if that's lining up an extra tight end, it doesn't matter, coach. I just want to make sure that DC defenders go back to back. I swear, it wasn't like, hey, no, I got to XYZ. The biggest thing that I requested for is like, hey, what can we do about the number? Please. I'm like, come on, the number. I had the number of I got a chance to get it. Like, come on. So we had a conversation. The conversation that we had was like on a Thursday. No, it was on a Friday. I finished my meeting for the day on Friday. It was a conversation. I said, hey, I'll buy my plane ticket today. I sent them, hey, buy my plane ticket. See you there. And the rest was history. Didn't really anticipate. Honestly, I was just kind of like, listen, I'm here for a good time. Make sure we finish the job. So it was a group collaborative effort. It wasn't too much convincing. It was more so me like, the timing doesn't work. It doesn't work. This may work. You know what? I think let's try it. And now we're here.
Like you said, not a long time, but here for a good time. 2 weeks. You guys come in, you win. You beat the Orlando Storm, who we struggled against, and now this Sunday, y'all are in the United Bowl. And what is it going to take to make that mission come true of seeing Coach Harris and the rest of the teammates and yourself raise that championship trophy? What do you guys got to get done to get that job?
I would say that we have to, number one, it's a defense, stop the run and get after the quarterback. They have an amazing quarterback and an amazing running game. We have to do everything in our power to make sure we neutralize their strong suits. And we just have to be ourselves. I mean, a DC defense is violent. They're rowdy. They fly around from sideline to sideline. We just got to be that for 4 quarters. And on offense, they just I believe in 12. I love JT, man. I miss JT. If JT can take my ACL, I'll give it to him. But I tore mine 3 times. So, he probably don't want this one. But we just got to put trust in our guys, man. D Jack been showing up all year. CP been showing up all year. Ty Scott been showing up all year. That O-line has been amazing as well. So we just need to be ourselves on all phases and being star in our role. You know, if you need me to line up at 3 Tech, which I hope I'm not, and I got to do what I need to do to make sure that we win the trophy, that we have more points than them at the end of the game. We just have to bite down, be ourselves, and execute. You know, learn from mistakes. Let's minimize mistakes because we're 12 weeks in the season now. We should know what we have to do, where we need to be. And I just think that we have to be who we are. We're winners. I was saying this last week, like, we've been here before. We send people home and we win. This is what DC is about. This is what DC is. So I'm saying to them, like, I don't care what happened these 2 weeks. We're all 0-0. We're gonna let the Orlando Storm stand in the way of us having a championship in DC. That's what you're telling me. So I started asking people, I'm like, that's what we're saying? Is that what we're gonna do? Like, just let's really think about it. A championship game in DC. We are defending DC. Are we gonna let the Orlando Storm stand in front of that? You know what I mean? And it started to kind of become a running joke and stuff like that. And I was just trying to be just super positive. Like, I walked up to Bean. I had never met Bean. I said, hey, I told my girlfriend I wear number 12. So when you throw your first touchdown, like, just let me get the ball. He was just laughing. Like, touchdown, let me get it. When you run for the other one, you keep it. Like, just doing stuff like that, man. Just trying to be energetic and positive, because I know it's been a rough stretch these second half of the season, but it's like I just came back. I'm like, do y'all know who we are? Like, do y'all know who we really are? Like, when we wear this logo in that facility, people know who we are. People know what we do, and let's just act like it. It's not anything magic. It's not anything magic or crazy. It's like we're just being who we are. We win. We talk trash. We get rowdy. We make plays, and we win. That's literally what we do. So it's like, I don't care what happened 2 weeks in a row. We're not leaving this field. Only one of us, we're going to fly here on the same plane, but only one of us will have a game next week, and it will not be them. So, man, we just ran with it, man, and it was a team effort, man. I take no credit. I take no credit in what took place out there. I just would say that I just wanted to talk to guys. Guys knew that that's been there before, like, this is what we do. Like, we win. We figure it out. We win. So that was just my mantra to people. It wasn't like a big speech or nothing. It was me walking up to people that I didn't know Jason Bean from a can of paint, but I'm saying, hey, listen, man, when you throw that first touchdown, just let me keep the ball so I can, I gotta tell my girlfriend I threw it. You know what I mean? Come on. So just stuff like that. Just trying to be an energetic guy and just remind us who we are as DC defenders.
You said you're not going to take any credit. I'm going to give you the credit, because that sounds like the exact mentality you want to have throughout a locker room when you're trying to overcome somebody who's got you twice in a row.
Mm-hmm. My favorite playable character after last championship was Championship Parade Andre Mintze. So I really need that player unlocked again. So,
for
man,
sure.
Because you were mic'd up. That was awesome.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And then this whole ordeal, allegedly, everything like that. Listen, I'm literally, Derek Roberson just got a sack. He should win the MVP, by the way.
Yes.
On the MVP finalist, I'm like, oh my gosh, you did it. Like, MVP is locked. It's done. You just won the MVP. And he should win the MVP. I seen the other guy just got defensive player of the year, so he should get MVP. But he's talking to the cameras. I'm like, yeah, I'm hyping him up. And he says, "Oh, we got Mintze over here." I get up like, no. I'm not here for that. I got a lot of stuff going on in my life. I'm not here for that. I'm here to just make sure the score is right. So as I'm walking away, the cameraman just like on me. I'm like, no, man, come on, man. And I'm thinking this is just something simple. Like I'm thinking this is just like, oh yeah, DC. And he's asking me about this whole situation. I'm like, listen, man. Allegedly. That's the only thing I can come up with. That's the only thing I can say. That was me, honestly, on that. That was so impromptu. That was not planned. Like, hey, media wants to talk to you. This was nothing. This was like, I'm hyping him up. He pointed at me. I get up. I was like, let me go get some water. Cameraman right under me. I'm like, oh, man. Come on, man. So here we are. And I got to my phone and I was like, whoa. What is this? What is this? And man, here we are later, man. I just try to be. That was just me being myself. That was unprompt. And again, I'm just trying to make sure that Coach Shannon holds up that United Bowl trophy. And I guess one viral clip later, we're here, man.
Man, you're a star. You're a star from South Philly. You're a star. Thank you for joining the show. Incredible conversation. We asked you for 15. You gave us almost 50.
Yes, sir.
Best of luck this week. I know y'all fly out tomorrow after practice. Coach Mars will be in the building. He's got seats in the Beer Snake. Okay. So when you hit the celly, I'm calling a defensive touchdown. When you get that done this week, look for Coach Mars in the end zone holding up the Beer Snake.
I'm hearing back on my media credentials tomorrow. I'm going to be pissed off if I don't get them. But anyway, I hope I see you pregame. Look for me pregame on the side.
Yes, sir. Hell yeah, man. I appreciate y'all for having me.
Absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
Great talk. Y'all in the city, I know y'all closing up. Y'all in the city, we gotta hit me up on Instagram or something. I gotta make sure that anything I can help what y'all got going on. I got linemen in the city too. Jameer Johnson, he went to Tennessee and in Texas A&M. If I can connect them with y'all, anything I can do to help y'all, helping these kids be better football players.
Just listen, we're gonna have the 3rd annual Big Man Bowl next year. We might do something beforehand. Okay. If we could get you out to the Big Man Bowl, we had Barrett Brooks with us this year. We had Hollis. We had Hollis Thomas out of practice, but we had Trey Thomas at the Big Man Bowl last year. So we will definitely be hitting you up and taking you up on that offer, brother. We got to make sure the Philly big men keep shining and keep getting opportunities to go to places like Tennessee and the DC Defenders and the Vikings and the UFL, the NFL, and top-tier college programs, man. You are the example, and I mean that. I appreciate that. I'm going to call you the ticket from now on, bro, because you're doing it on the field and outside the line. So I cannot tell you how much we appreciate you, the man you are, the example you're setting, and go Defenders.
Thank you.
Shields up. See you Saturday.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for having me.
Shields up, mics down. Till next time.
Yes, sir.
Peace.